All right, hello everyone. First off, thank you very much, Chris and the organizers of this meetup. We really need some sort of networking meetups for the same role in QA and testing. So thank you very much for setting this up. Hopefully, more power to you in the future. So what I'm going to talk today is about the release cycle of SmartNews. So I'm the QA manager for SmartNews. And first off is a self-introduction. But before introducing myself, I'd like to get to know the audience as well. So first, who here is working in Japan? Can you guys raise your hands? Work in Japan? Okay, yes, that's obvious. And I wanted you to keep raising your hand because my next question is, who is working as an SDET, QA, or test-related work? All right, understood. So maybe around 60%. And then who is in the QA field, who is doing only manual? Okay, thank you. Around less than 5%. And then who in the QA field and only doing automation? Only automation, less than 5% as well. And then who's doing both? I see. So most of you guys are doing both. Understood, thank you. So for my side, my name is Mark. I am from Philippines. I grew up there, and then I moved to Taiwan for a bit. And then after that, I came to Japan recently, last year, and living in Chiba. Anyone here lives in Chiba, or are you guys? Oh yeah, nice, Chiba, nice. All right, great. It was a bit far from me, but it was a nice trip. And then my occupation, basically I am QA manager, but I'm more of a full-time dad. So I have 2 kids, 2 daughters. I worked in NEC before in Japan, and then worked in HTC, which is a mobile application, a mobile phone, and then Line Taiwan, which is a application we more normally use, and then SmartNews. So my hobbies is mainly traveling and playing mobile games. So this is a picture in no, not Switzerland. What do you call that? New Zealand, and we call it, yeah. And then it's really nice. It's basically on the way to, I forgot the name because I was nervous. But anyway, it's in the South Island. It's really pretty. Yeah, I really can't remember the place, but maybe I'll check up with Chris later.
Nangkok?
No, it's like in the, further in the Queensland.
Milford Sound? Wanaka? Queenstown?
I'll check it later, sorry. I'm nervous, so I forgot it. Something Sounds. Milford Sound?
Milford Sound.
Yeah, Milford Sound, yes, there. Thank you. So the agenda today, basically I'll be talking about these items, once the release, what happens during the release, who handles the release, and what's next for us in our team. So basically, what is the schedule of our release? So in our SmartNews application, we do on a weekly update of our release to Google Play and App Store. So this is a sample of our schedule. You can see here there are 3 weeks time span, but in the FF, in the first week of Thursday, FF means the feature freeze. This is when we start to branch out our release branch so that we start building the release build to start the QA period. The QA period lasts for 1 week, and after 1 week of QA testing and bug fixing, we do the app submission during the 2nd week of Thursday. After that, we submit it to Google Play or App Store in the weekend. Hopefully Apple sees it, approves it, and then we release it on Monday with a gradual rollout of 3 days. So usually for iOS, we release it 1%, 2%, and 100%. And then for Google, we set it as 50% and then 100% on the 3rd day. So that's how we handle the release cycle for a single version. So if you see if there are 2 versions, it will be overlapping in the week 2. So the orange part, it will have similar schedule. overall you'll see a release on the week 4. So that's how in SmartNews often does the weekly release cycle for application side. There are some exceptions. So for example, if QA is not able to complete on time, we do have some buffer. So usually we have app submission on Thursdays. Usually we might think, why not on Friday? And that's because we have some buffer so that on Fridays, if in case QA is not able to finish on time, it happens maybe around once a month or so, then we can move the app submission to Friday and extend the QA period for 1 day. So that's how our schedule works, a bit more flexible. And the reason for us not being able to finish QA is mainly, the reason is development might not be complete, so there are like last minute changes, or PM suddenly changes the direction of the flow, so we have to have last minute changes into it, so it might not have enough time. Also, maybe there are bigger features that we need QA to have more time. So that's why we need to extend this QA period. Then of course there are sometimes holidays. So for holiday period, I've set here, for example, in Japan mainly we have holidays on Mondays. And if it's a Monday, basically it will just affect the rollout schedule. So instead of having a 100% release on Wednesday, we will move it on Thursday. Similar situation wherein if the holiday is on Tuesday or Wednesday, the process of rollout will have 100% rollout on Thursday. But if the holiday comes on Thursday itself, then we will need to have the feature freeze move an earlier date on Wednesday, and then we will have to have the app submission moved on Friday. And of course, if it's a Friday holiday, then there won't be any changes in the schedule. We just make sure that we have a good time on a 3-day weekend. Next is what happens during release. So these are the tasks that we usually do for the release cycle for application. Release process, crash monitoring for the application, because mainly we use the application of SmartNews, to our customers, making sure that there are no incidents, and also bugs or inquiries for internal channel. So for the release process, basically once the QA has completed the test in terms of automation and manual testing, we communicate a QA sign-off to the release masters. The release masters who use Circle CI. It's just a press of a button to trigger the build pipeline. The build pipeline will run the build, test, and submit the application or binary to App Store. These tests, release pipeline, we do have a playbook for it so that the new members or maybe non-mobile developers are also aware of how to produce the hotfixes. So even QA members are able to handle the release process if they need to. So it's very open for but basically this responsibility is handed over to the mobile developers. Oh, sorry. We also have, aside from Google and Apple, we also have Galaxy Store as well, because we have some users maybe in America or in Japan as well who uses Samsung devices, and they use the Galaxy Store to download their device. So after we have 100% on both platforms, we will upload the latest version as well to Google Galaxy. And this is also done fully automated with in-house script to upload it. For crash monitoring, we use Firebase to monitor our crashes. So there is a velocity alert that as an option inside Firebase. So for example, a specific version has a percentage that is crashing, then there will be this Firebase Crash Analytics will trigger an alert. Once it triggers an alert, we integrated with PagerDuty and Slack so that the on-call engineer will be notified of this crash. After notifying it, we're going to check the actual crash and have an issue triage. In the issue triage, we basically just need to fill in the number of crashes, users, and percent of crash-free rate. And then we'll be able to see in the template whether this type of issue is minor or major and what are the actual actions that we'll be doing. So basically, this is our own thresholds and percentage. So if there are 1% or more users from a specific version that is crashing, then we will need to immediately mitigate it, and we will call it as an incident, and we will try to fix the issue within 24 hours. If it's a major issue, then we will, or more than from 0.1 to 1%, then we'll need to fix it within 7 days, usually on the next version. Rather than having a hot fix, we will put the fix inside the next version so that we'll be able to fix that specific major issue. If it's minor, then we treat it as is. Then in terms of internal bugs or inquiries, we get this a lot from fellow engineers or customer service and also PMs. So if there are any, we use Slack in reporting our bugs. So when there is this one looks like a Slack workflow. So what we do is, if a non-engineer reports an inquiry to us and then we think that it's a bug, then the on-call engineers or the QA on-call will be notified of this notification, and then if we think that it's a bug, then we will trigger again another Slack workflow so that we'll be able to create a Jira ticket automatically within Slack. And then if there's an incident, so basically this is how we handle incidents. We try to make sure that we triage it appropriately, and we will know how to mitigate it. We will know how fast we need to mitigate the issue. Once we have mitigated the issue, the most important part in the incident is having a post-mortem review. So in this post-mortem review, we listed down the action items that we will be able to avoid from the incidents from happening again. And these incidents cannot be closed as long as the action items aren't done. And in terms of handling the incidents, so we have a playbook for on-call engineers as well of how to handle incidents so that newcomers will be able to understand how to handle it. And on-call EMs are the incident commanders. So basically we do need to communicate with other stakeholders as well. So we let our on-call EMs or engineering managers to be the one responsible for communicating with the stakeholders and making sure that the action items are accomplished by the engineers. We list the action items in the Jira board, so I will talk more about that Jira board later on. So who handles the release? So I mentioned a lot of times about the on-call engineers. They are basically the ones who handle the release cycle. And we do it using PagerDuty. So we have a weekly rotation of these engineers, and we make sure that they are paged or called within the working hours. So we don't, if there is like an issue at night, they will not be paged basically. We only page it during the daytime, during the working hours, to respect their to respect their personal life. And then if there is, for instance, then if there is a real major issue, then maybe the EMs will be notified of it, and also in Slack everyone will be able to see if there are any major incidents happening. And then what's important about this is that we have a handover meeting. So for the handover meeting, since there will be iOS and Android engineers, they will be sharing from the previous on-call to the next on-call. We will arrange a meeting to them and have a shared Jira board for all the incidents that happen or all the bugs that happen during that week. and to make sure that the transition between the on-call engineers is smooth. It's a good way for us to have a single source of truth of analyzing or checking the ongoing tasks for different on-call engineers within this Jira board. So what's next for us in our QA team? So here are the recent initiatives that we are currently planning. So we would like to map the code changes to features and test cases. So this one basically will be able to, once we are able to map the code changes of the developers to the features and our test cases, we'll be able to provide a automated release notes for us to be able to show to our partners or stakeholders. And next is to prioritize test cases based on those changes. So we have a weekly weekly release cycle. So the change is quite fast. So it's hard for us to test everything. So we would like to prioritize on those test cases that are affecting these types of features. Then another thing is that the strictness of feature freeze. So basically, we do have a problem as well in last-minute changes. So we do it's called feature freeze, but we're not really freezing the code. So we do have some problems there. So we would like to improve on that side as well to make it strict, so that we'll be able to have QA will be able to have enough time, fixed amount of time to run exploratory tests, and also test avoidance. Our test cases are increasing. We would like to avoid running all of the tests, so we would like to investigate on how impactful this test avoidance could be. So that's why this is part of our plan as well in the future. All right, I think that's it for me. It's a bit fast, but since it's a bit late, that's about it. Let's just keep in touch. Thank you very much for your time. Feel free to add me in where is this? In LinkedIn, so you can keep in touch and have a chance to talk with you guys. And one last thing is that currently our team is not hiring, but if there is any announcements, I'll be announcing it in LinkedIn. So if you guys are interested, feel free to keep in touch. Thank you very much for your time, and that's it. Any questions? If none, then thank you very much for your time.